We've got player props for you the rest of the week here on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Let's get Frank Stampfl's props right now. And what's going on? Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Fantasy Football Today in 5. Adam Aizer and Frank Stampfl here. Follow us and stream us on Spotify. This podcast gets you caught up fast on the fantasy news and advice you need to know. What's up, Frank? You ready to kick off props week?
I am ready, man. Super Bowl, the GOAT versus the baby goat. Let's do it.
Baby goat. Okay. Give me, let's start with a Tom Brady player prop. Give me one you like.
So look, I'm going to be eating chalk with a bunch of these. I'm taking the overs. I know typically unders are more profitable, but I'm going with a lot of overs here, and I like to correlate my props. So Tom Brady, first and foremost, I'm going over 24.5 completions. That's minus 135 over at William Hill. He went over this number in 9 of 16 regular season games, 27 completions against the Chiefs back in week 12. Tom Brady has not gone over this number in any postseason games, but I do expect this game to be a bit of a shootout with the Bucs playing from behind. And Tampa Bay had the third highest passing percentage at 63.7%, so I would expect a lot of passing attempts again here and a lot of completions for Tom Brady.
One of those completions you think will be to another team? To the Chiefs?
Yeah, that's right. I think it will go to the Chiefs. Tom Brady to throw an interception, minus 170 over at William Hill. 12 interceptions for Brady in the regular season. That was his most since 2011. 3 interceptions in the NFC Conference Championship game against the Green Bay Packers as well. And KC just had 16 interceptions in the regular season. That was tied for the 5th most in the NFL, and they've had at least one interception in each postseason game as well. One against Baker Mayfield, one against Josh Allen. They got some ball hawks in the defense. So yeah, I like Brady to throw an interception as well.
All right, so Tom Brady over 24.5 completions, and an interception does not count as a completion. That was just a joke, but he will throw an interception as well. And Leonard Fournette, he's been pretty involved out of the backfield, catching passes, and you like the over 3.5 receptions for Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, I expect many people are going to be on this one, and they should be because we've seen the way Fournette has been used recently. He's kind of turned into like this James White for Tom Brady. And I looked at the past 3 Super Bowls for Tom Brady, and he's really used a lot of short to intermediate options in those games. So this is very chalky. Fournette's been on the field a lot, 68% of the snaps or more in each postseason game, 4+ receptions in each of those as well. So he's gone over that number each time. KC struggles against pass-catching running backs. So yeah, give me Fournette over 3.5.
Oh, yeah, Kansas City actually, this is a yard stat, not a catches stat, but they give up the most receiving yards per game to running backs this year. That does include Lynn Bowden, who's on CBS. He's registered he counts as a running back, so that's part of it. But even if you took that out, they're still among the worst against pass-catching running backs. They've gotten better as their defense has gotten better later in the year. But I like that one actually quite a bit. All right, I'm glad you have this one. This might be, I don't know if it's my favorite because it's such a high number, but Travis Kelce, 7.5 receptions, and you're going over. And I think it's 9 out of the last 10 games he's had 8 or more catches. And the one time he didn't, it's 7 catches. So 7.5 is what you need. It's just crazy because that's a ton of catches, but he does it week in, week out. So you're going Travis Kelce over 7.5.
Yeah, this is a massive number. I realize that. Over 7.5 receptions. That's minus 140 over at William Hill. I also like the over on his yards, 97.5 yards. That's minus 115. So if you prefer that one, go with the yards. But I think he's honestly going to go over both of these numbers. I think many people will look at Tyreek Hill based on what he did against the Bucs back in week 12. He just went off. He had 3 touchdowns, just an absolute monster game. I think because of that, we're going to see more defensive attention thrown towards Tyreek Hill in this game, which should open things up for Travis Kelce a little bit more. And it's just a really good matchup. The Chiefs, the Bucs rather, allowed 5.5 receptions per game to tight ends. That was the 6th most in the NFL. You mentioned Kelce, 8+ in 9 of his last 10 games. He's gone over this yardage mark in 8 of his last 10 games as well.
All right, what's our last player prop that you're going to give us as we kick off player prop week on Facebook?
Yeah, so this is a bit of a long shot, but I think we see a Gronk spike here in the Super Bowl, right? So to score a touchdown, Gronkowski plus 250, and I'd be willing to sprinkle a little bit on him to score the first touchdown at plus 1,800. Gronk only has a 7% target share in the playoffs thus far, but he leads the team with 4 red zone targets. So when he's targeted, it's usually in the red zone, which should correlate well with touchdowns. KC has struggled against tight ends. They gave up 9 touchdowns to the position in the regular season. That was tied for 7th most, and they just allowed a touchdown to Dawson Knox in the AFC Championship game as well. Gronk kind of owns the Super Bowl too. 3 touchdowns in his 4 Super Bowl appearances. Give me Gronk, man. A Gronk spike in the Super Bowl.
All right. That would be pretty fun. That would be very Gronkian almost. I think a lot of people like Cameron Brayton from a DFS standpoint. I don't know about a lot, but Cameron Brayton's been coming on strong. But maybe this is a Gronk showcase game. Let the young man go out there and make plays, that Rob Gronkowski. Let him get his career started. Frank Stampfl, thank you for joining us on Fantasy Football Today in 5. Check out Fantasy Baseball Today with Frank. Check out Fantasy Football Today with me. Follow and subscribe. Follow and stream those ones on Spotify, pardon me. And we'll talk to you tomorrow on Fantasy Football Today in 5.
Want more of the Fantasy Football Today podcast and nonstop year-round fantasy advice? It's simple. Hit the subscribe button and hang with us all throughout the year.